Here's what we need. The bad guys had stolen Thunderbird 2 from Tracy Island. They come flying down the Thames. They fly under the Tower Bridge. They blow all the windows out of the mayor's building. They circle Big Ben, and they land here in Jubilee Garden. After that, Thunderbird 1 with the good guys skeet down the Thames, also land right here somewhere in Jubilee Garden. Now, from outer space comes Thunderbird 3 with Jeff Tracy and the rest of the boys. They land where? Right here in Jubilee Gardens. Out of Thunderbird 2 comes the mole. It digs underground, runs under the Thames, and goes to the Bank of London. The good guys now get back in Thunderbird 1 and they fly to the Bank of London. The only problem I have is, how do I do that?
The first stage of planning for the actual shots begins at Frame Store in central London. The largest effects house in Europe, Frame Store has worked on many major productions, including the last Bond film and the Harry Potter series. Although the sequence planned for Jubilee Gardens will eventually use vast amounts of computing power, the starting point is actually on paper. The designers begin by creating a storyboard. Very much like a cartoon strip, this is put in the computer, animated, and will give the director a basic idea of how the shots will look.
In these big action sequences, everyone sort of lives and dies by the boards because we have committed to that angle for this big, expensive visual effects shot.
Once the shots are in sequence, the visual effects team edit the storyboards with 3D computer graphics. Now they can see how the characters will move and where to put the camera in order to follow the action.
What was a real advantage is that I could have an idea about what I wanted a shot to do going into an action scene. So you can design before they spend a lot of money on building the shot.
There are some things that can't be filmed, and for these parts of the sequence, it's over to the animation department.
Just going to take you briefly through the basics of how we actually do animation with a computer if you haven't seen it before. The principles are pretty much similar to they are with puppet animation, where you'll set a certain pose, go forward in time, change the pose. The difference with the computer is that you can actually see it happening in front of you. So if I've got Thunderbird 2 flying across screen here, I can see it happening. I don't wait for the film to be developed. So the methods are similar, but the end result is slightly different.
So the rockets are now moving. The next step is to make them look a little more convincing. The team have a few tricks to make the computer models look like real Thunderbirds.
We're applying texture maps to them, which are basically all of your paints that we apply to a wireframe. The next phase is to start to apply shaders. This is what makes it shiny, what makes it reflective, dirty. It gives it a material characteristic to the surface.
Getting the environment right, the world the effects live in, is just as important as the machines themselves. The designers need to make the computer-generated Thunderbirds sit comfortably in real-life London.
I'm in charge of the effects team, who are primarily responsible for the environmental interactions of those rockets. So if there's any sort of landings or the dust being kicked up, and what else do we need to do to make these things look like they're really in the scene?
To make the scenes look as convincing as possible, the team need to layer real-life elements into the computer graphics. So, it's off to the river to shoot water, sky, grass, everything they can that will add realism.
The rule of thumb is always to use whatever you can that's real, to use that, because it will always look better.
Bringing those layers together is a difficult process. Sometimes several layers of computer information and real-life footage are needed to make a shot truly believable.
You lay this one on top, which is the CG on its own, and then the final result is this one here. So it looks like the ship is affecting the water as it goes across.
The mole was a job in itself, and to make it burrow under Jubilee Gardens, Justin's team found an ingenious way of creating the effect.
On the day, they'd rigged up the dirt chucker, so a lot of sort of drums just stuck with dirt and grass, and just fired off the mortars for those, just throwing the dirt in the air and covering everyone.
One part of the sequence that didn't use any tricks was going through Tower Bridge. The unit really did fly through the famous London landmark.
Has anybody flown underneath Tower Bridge before?
Never. It was done in about the 1940s, apparently. I'm not sure by what, small biplane, but we met back in February. We got all the key organisations around the table and said, this is us, this is what Thunderbirds wants to do in London, this is our plan. We want to fly a real helicopter to get Thunderbird 2's viewpoint through Tower Bridge. Come on, guys, help us out.
Coordinating the opening of the bridge, the background action, safety issues, and the fly-through itself is a huge job involving everyone on the crew. It's a massive exercise in communication, from storyboard artists to the animators, through to the supervisors and the director himself.
I spent 6 months getting everybody on side, and finally we shot it last Sunday, and it was the most very quick 30 seconds of fly through for 6 months of work, but it was worth every penny of doing all that hard work. It was fantastic.
Okay, stand by then, Jess. We'll bring the helicopter in. And background action, and action on the Tower Bridge.
Excuse me.
And when it's all pulled together, the entire sequence from Thunderbird 2's appearance over the Thames to the mole going underground will be on screen for less than 2 minutes. Months of preparation, hundreds of people at work, and this is only about 2% of the total film. That's the filmmakers' commitment to making us believe that Thunderbirds are go.